Hello, and my name is Peter Rushmer, and I'm your host today of a Half Dozen Things podcast. A Half Dozen Things is a podcast for business owners and professionals just like you. Whether you're an underdog hungry for success or you're already smashing it but want to continue to level up, we're here each week for you to get insight and learning from the very best in the business. No fluff, no BS, and no self-proclaimed gurus talking about how easy business or life is. Just real, frank, and raw conversations. So, red light is going, Donna. Welcome to A Half Dozen Things. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I'm really pleased to have you here today and taking a bit of time out of your busy schedule. Obviously, as I've just introduced you to our listeners, you run Locks and Shades Hairdressers, which is based in Yaxley in Peterborough. And we obviously are just on top of reopening. How exciting is that?
Yeah, so we're reopening on Saturday. So I'm in the salon today, starting to make plans for that. Well, I've made lots of plans, but continuing my plans for reopening. So exciting times.
Amazing stuff. And I suppose you've been quite busy with phone calls from people who are desperate to have their hair cut.
Absolutely. Like we've had so many phone calls. It's taking us so much longer than we thought. I kind of thought one day we'll have rang everyone, sorted out our waiting lists, but actually like we're on day 4 now. And we're not really moving anywhere fast, so that's great because it means we've got loads of business and it's brilliant. But yeah, this admin is taking a long time.
No, I bet. And like the thing is it's something that I probably struggle to understand really, but considering looking at the state of my hair, it's not too much of a worry for me. But I'm always quite impressed with how straight I managed to get my beard anyway. But
Good,
do you do men's hair as well as women's hair?
We do men's hair. We don't really advertise it because we've got a barber shop next to us, and we have a good relationship with them. So we do it, but we don't advertise that we do really.
Right, got you. Yeah, no worries at all. Apologies if you heard Bella then, by the way. Like Bella's literally, she sat there like right by here, and she's like a little guard dog, right? She's quite scary. Let me just grab her 1 sec.
All right, yeah, no problem.
For the benefit of the listeners, Bella is on the camera. You'll see her on the YouTube. But when you hear her bark today, because you'll see that she is one scary looking dog, right?
Very big and scary.
Anyway, back to professional stuff. Anyway, so you've been running Locks and Shades for how long now, Donna?
So Locks and Shades has actually been running for 5 years, but it's been in a salon for 3 years. So I started it at home. I was working from home in my second bedroom. Nice. And it was just me by myself, and everything got really, really busy and hectic, and I grew quite rapidly. So I decided to go into a salon, and so we've been in our salon home in Yaxley for 3 years now.
Amazing stuff. And how big's your team? How many people you got working with you now?
So we've got 13 team members now. So we've gone from a 1-chair salon in my second bedroom in my terraced house, in my tiny house, to a 10-seater salon in 3 years.
It's absolutely brilliant. What an amazing story. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to hearing about your half dozen things as well. So for the benefit of the listeners, Donna's half dozen things are passion, having a growth mindset, the branding and the visual culture as well, good team and support network, education and values, keeping growing and developing, which is actually, she certainly lives what she speaks from that point of view, because she recently invested in training with us at Flagship as well, which is how we've got to know each other too. And then finally, hard work ethic as well, which again is going to be so valuable, particularly in trying to achieve the growth that you've managed over the past 2 or 3 years. Is just astonishing, really. So we'll just kick that off now then with passion. So you're clearly very passionate. Are you able to just explain that a little bit more and why you feel it's so important for business owners?
Yeah, so I mean, taking it back to the very beginning, I am a hairdresser. I started my training when I was 18, and I'm absolutely obsessed with hair. Like I wasn't one of these, you know, a lot of hairdressers will say that I've always wanted to be a hairdresser, and that really wasn't in my plan. I kind of fell into it, but as soon as I started hairdressing, I absolutely loved it. So I'm really passionate about what I do, and that's then led on to me having a business, because I wanted to I felt that passionate about hair that I wanted to create an environment where I felt super creative, where I could work with other people that was as passionate as me, and yeah, it's also led me to work down a lot of different avenues, but it's really my big why I do what I do. It's because I absolutely love the hairdressing side of it. So that's how
Awesome.
I became a business owner, really.
Yeah, amazing. So actually the passion for you has come out of you actually love what you do. And I suppose as that business has grown, have you actually struggled to continue? How do you find that balance? Because I suppose you've been having to take more of a role where you're leading your team rather than actually getting to cut hair.
Yeah, definitely. So you know, when I first went self-employed, it was great because I went back to the hair, and that was really, you know, what I loved. And then, you know, becoming a business owner, it is harder. Like, you have to make that time to go back onto the chair. So during the time the salon's been open, I've had 2 children. So obviously with maternity leave, I'm now working on the I'm working on the chair. We call it working on the chair, working on clients, 2 to 3 days a week, whereas before I was on 5 days. I need that business development time too, to create the environment that I want to work in. So
Yeah, got you.
but now I delegate a lot of my tasks. On the management side of things, I have 3 amazing managers, and I now have a big team. So I'll have a training team as well. So I delegate a lot of my tasks so that I can be a really good leader to the business, but also still be a really good hairdresser and keep true to my why as to why I wanted a salon in the first place.
Amazing stuff. And I follow your Facebook page, and forever your pages are your pictures cropping up with videos of you doing all cool different hairstyles and stuff. And I think I must really watch this because I ought to learn. My daughters have got absolutely beautiful hair, long blonde thick hair. I'm very jealous, and you know, I should really learn how to do it. But you know, as far as I get is like, you know, the Hoover tube of like getting their hair in and then putting a ponytail on.
I need to do a tutorial on that. I think that'd be great.
I reckon. Definitely. I think you should do some videos for guys like me who have never had much hair. Well, actually, I did have hair once upon a time. Back when I was about 18, I thought it was really cool. Do you remember David Beckham had like the mohawk thing?
Oh yeah.
And I had like a mohawk thing, and my hair was like jet black, and I thought I was super cool because I had like a blonde bit, like bleached at the front, and then a bit at the back, and then right at the back of my head. Horrific. I'm glad there's not actually any evidence to prove that it was like that, because I don't think there's any photos. So we'll probably just keep that between us, right?
Yeah.
But seriously though, you must be super passionate. So obviously you've just told us that you have also had 2 children alongside growing the business. You must work absolutely non-stop. How do you manage to cope with it all?
So my children, I have got Tate, who's just turned 2, and I've got Cole, that is 11 months. She's nearly 1. Yeah. So there's 13 months between them as well. Because you know, I'm not challenged enough, you know. So we thought we'd put some more challenges in. So it has massively had to be about sorry, I've forgotten the question now.
No, that's okay. It was just
I'm a children. So.
I was just sort of drawing it back for the listeners so that they could actually really register that you've grown your business like from your bedroom to a salon with 13 people, but you've also managed to have 2 children as well. So it's just like incredible the amount of work that you must have done to be able to do that. So that demonstrates the passion that you must show for your business as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. So my children are quite close together. We were just talking about them before we went live recording, and I've got 3 children that are all quite close together. Lolly and Roman, my eldest, they're actually what's called Irish twins. So one of them was born in January and one of them was born in December of the same year.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild. Why anyone would choose to do it? So I know exactly how much work you've taken on with having 2 13 months apart. Incredible. So right, let's move on to the second thing, which is around growth mindset. Are you able to just sort of explain that a little bit more for me, please, Donna?
So I I am super positive. I've always been quite a positive person. I hate, you know, and it's something that's been a lot, especially when I was having my children. Like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, I hate that word. I hate the word can't. Like, you need to. Things are hard and things are tough sometimes, but they're not impossible. So until they're impossible, like, work really hard towards them. So like I say, I'll always try and look at the positives in things. Problems, I see them as challenges. I love problem solving. Like, I love, you know, like escape rooms and stuff. Even like in your normal life, like, I love problem solving. It's just like a massive challenge. And I just feel like the wrong mindset can just be a massive barrier to something. We're not always going to know the answers to everything. We're not always going to have that knowledge, but I think that you can, and it kind of links into, you know, some of my other key points, is that you can, if you work hard enough and you're dedicated enough and you love what you do enough, you will always find a way to gain that knowledge, or to work as hard, or just to achieve your goals. So I'm a really goal setting sort of person.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, and I think it ties in nicely with one of your other items as well, which is hard work and ethic too. But let's sticking with sort of the growth mindset. I think you can really clearly tell that, and I quite enjoy. I've been to an escape room once, but I wasn't very good actually. I failed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. How embarrassing is that, right? I like to think I'm quite intelligent as well, which I'm clearly not. But yeah, it's I think the growth mindset, it's about realizing that we're fallible, aren't we? You know, we have our limitations, but actually we can develop and grow and become better at what we do. And actually nothing is insurmountable. And actually it's interesting what you said about I can't, because, or the word can't, I've actually got tattooed on my arm I can. Yeah, there's a bit of a story behind that, but there is no such thing as can't, really. You know, it's certainly something that I try and instill. I hate people saying I can't do something, because, like you say, unless it's like flying without wings or something, who says you can't do it, right?
Exactly. And I just feel like I'm a little bit of a rebel. It kind of like spurs me on more. If somebody's like, oh, you can't do that, or that's going to be really hard work, or whatever, giving a negative spin on it, I think I can do it, and I'm going to show you I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I love that. I take no greater pleasure, and actually a lot of the goals that I set are actually around stuff that people have said I can't do, because I love nothing better. Even if I'm not, it's not like I go back and rub their face in it or anything either. It's more just a bit of a F you. Sorry, for the benefit of people listening, I did do the fingers. But like, literally, you know, it's just so important to be able to go, oh yeah, you can't do that, and actually go, yeah, I can. I'm going to go and do it.
Think, you know, if you want something enough, you will achieve it. And you know, if there has been times where I think, oh, I've not quite reached that goal. You know, sometimes I think back, did you want it enough? Did you really make the sacrifices that you needed to make to get there? You know, and you know, it's about knowing yourself and trusting yourself as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you say, that's quite an interesting point you made about the goal being really meaningful. It needs to be something that you are willing to go through the pain barrier to achieve. And there's nothing more motivating than someone saying you can't do it, to want to push you on and do that. Did you face, when you set up the business, did you face much adversity like that at all? Did you see people, were they sort of negative towards you around it?
I think a lot of the time it's things like, I suppose it's coming from a place of worry. Like, obviously, having a salon, I invested my, you know, Locks and Shades was completely self-funded. So I invested all of my life savings into having a salon. And there are, like, I know my mum was a little bit worried about it. She's like, oh, are you sure this is the right thing to do? But, you know, you just got to do it. You've got to take risks in life, haven't you? So it's those kind of things. And I think, you know, there is always little negatives that that niggle you maybe on a daily basis. So like when I was pregnant with my first child, Tate, like a lot of people go, oh, you'll want to do this, you will want to, what are you going to do with the business? Like, the business won't run without you, you know, and put in these sort of negative statements into my mind. And I think you have to have a real strong mindset and clarity to just kind of back them off and be like, right, I'm listening to this maybe 5 times a day. I need to just be like, right, you're strong on what you're doing. Just kind of, you know, switch that on and just say, oh, thank you for your concern. You know, I'm cool. But,
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
I got triggered at the beginning of lockdown by so parental support is always something that it's a little bit, you can always be a little bit uncertain of what sort of level of support you might get from mum and dad, you know, or
Yeah.
mum or dad, depending, or what have you, whatever the situation may be. And yeah, my parents, they had a very different outlook, I suppose, on life and the way it was. And you know, my dad was a policeman for 30 years, and he retired at 49, having served 30 years, and then went off and did other part-time work and what have you. And you know, in those days, it was like a job for life, and you just cracked on. Really, in reality, that's no longer how life is anymore.
Yeah.
And he got quite stern with me on lockdown, like, you don't need to play at this anymore, and you need to go and get a proper job and what have you. And I was like, right, okay, cool. That's definitely spurred me on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
and literally flagship are growing out of it. So yeah, it just goes to show that actually people saying you can't, or maybe just doubting you. I'm not saying they're not supportive, because they can be, but sometimes I think you don't really realise what's coming out of your mouth or how someone's going to interpret that, I suppose, when they put that into context.
At the end of the day, parents want the best for you, and they want you to have an easy life.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's probably where your dad was coming from. Like, I want you to just have a lovely life, an easy life, where, you know, you get loads of money and it's just easy. And I don't think being a business owner is easy. It's definitely not. So,
no, but then I think, to be fair, like, the easy money's all gone now, right? I don't know that, is there any easy money anymore? I don't know that there is, you know.
I don't think so. No.
I think you've just got a graft, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it.
So actually, let's move on to that point now then. So I'm going to skip a few, because I had hard work ethic at the other end, but it's so natural for us to flow on to that.
Yeah.
So, you're clearly very, very hard working. Talk to me a bit more about why that's one of your 6 things, Donna.
So yeah, I've always been really, I mean, it's linked to growth mindset, really. Always been hardworking. Like, if I want to achieve something, I will. I think just an insight, like, being a business owner, I got ungraded in my business studies A level. Like, I didn't know anything about business.
Good work.
I know, well done,
Good
me.
work, right?
Yeah. So obviously I didn't work hard at that, but since I've had my own business, like, and even before that, even like building up the funds to have my own business, I've always been about working hard, and I will work from whatever time in the morning to whatever time at night, and just absolutely graft to get the skills or the money or whatever I need to achieve my goals. Nothing is given to you in life. I truly believe that. And like you say, I do believe, like, the easy money is not around anymore. And I think a lot of people, you know, still chase an easy income, and I don't feel like that exists anymore. I think you've got to work hard to get it, and even that's just working hard to put them steps in place so eventually you can live an easier life. You know, I just hard work is something. I've always had hard work ethic, and even to the point where I couldn't, like, sometimes that we used to go on holiday and, like, I actually miss cutting hair. Like, I miss scissors, and yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool that you're passionate about what you do as well. I think a lot of what you're saying really resonates with me, because I thought it'd be easier. I genuinely thought it'd be easier. And when I left school, even back when I left school and I decided that I was going to work my way up in the automotive industry, I just thought it'd be easier. I thought it'd be easier to get a well-paid job, but certainly in business as well. You know, if you'd asked me 18 months ago, I'd have been retired by now as a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Because the amount of hours that you put in, I think there's a saying, isn't there? It's something like, I left my 40-hour-a-week job so that I could work 70 hours a week as a business owner, or something. I don't know the saying.
Exactly, on minimum wage as well, right? But yeah, it's totally baffling, because in reality, there's no shortcuts, are there? The only way is to literally go through it and to go through the pain. And you know, a lot of people lose their way along the way after sort of 2 years, 3 years, etc. And I think it's really good for us to have this conversation, because actually you've clearly been through that pain barrier. And even, you know, even at the point where we've had like a pandemic literally close the doors on business, and it's like, you know what, we're still going to make this, we're still going to cut through it. And actually, in reality, how much harder have you been working, even though you've been locked down and the business hasn't been operating? I bet you've been working harder than you would normally, right?
Yeah, I've been working harder. So there was a bit of a thing going around in the hairdressing industry when we went to close our salons. You know, a lot of people were saying, oh, we're hitting the pause button, we're hitting the pause button. And for me, I've hit the fast forward button, because, you know, my team have been furloughed, so I haven't necessarily had the help that I would have maybe have had before. Although, bless them, they are great, and they've done, you know, they've done loads for me, you know, motivating me and that sort of thing. But actually, you know, there's been a lot of stuff. When I started the business, I never thought it would be to the level that it is now. So I've gone through all of my systems and procedures right from the very start. I've got a new booking system. I've got loads of stuff. I've done loads of stuff during lockdown, as well as having my husband working from home and looking after the 2 children with no childcare, which I'm sure you appreciate. It's really, really hard because you're going through it too.
Absolutely nightmare.
Yeah. So I've been working, I get up at 5:30. So I do 2.5 hours work before the kids start getting up. They're really good sleepers, so I can get them up at 8. So I do that before they even start, and then literally when I put them down for a nap, I get my laptop out. Then they go to bed, and I get the laptop out, and that's how lockdown life has been. Yeah. It's just completely like working on new projects. So yes, the hair side of it obviously has been on pause, but all the business side has literally hit fast forward, and I'm like, right, we need to be doing this, and preparing for reopening as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, same for me, to be honest. Oh, there it is. There's the green juice. So what's in your green juice, Donna? For those that are listening, she's got this like horrible looking green, like Incredible Hulk juice that she's drinking. What is it?
So it's spinach, carrot, and banana today. So you just blend it all together. Yeah, it's lovely. It's great for your skin. I'm really into my skin.
I'll take your word for it. It sounds absolutely horrible.
Oh.
Okay, so we're back on, and so going back to talking about the hard work ethic, and obviously us going through lockdown and working even harder. You know, it's been like totally the same with us as well. I can't even tell you all the things that I've managed to do. It's just, you know, it's blown my brains. We've expanded into HR and health and safety. We've rebranded. I've got all my systems and processes in place. It's just, I've literally been getting up, like you say, 5:30 in the morning. And actually now has become even more challenging, because initially I was able to furlough Maggie, because Maggie, my wife, does most of the first aid training. We weren't able to do that. So it's not so bad. I could furlough her and she was able to homeschool the children. But now as lockdown's easing, absolute nightmare. She's training today. I'm recording a podcast with you. I'm working, and the kids are homeschooling downstairs.
It's always great, isn't it? You kind of look up from your laptop and you're like, wow, my house, what happened? Like,
yeah, big time.
Everywhere.
Big time. So, like, they're really good. They're really well behaved, but it's, you know, it does. The house has just got trashed. We actually, it really looked really nice initially. When Mags had been furloughed, she painted everywhere, and you know, we'd done loads of good stuff around the house. Or she did anyway. I was busy working, like I say. So yeah. So let's move on to your next thing, which is around brand, visual, and culture. Talk to me a bit more about that, Donna.
So I am really passionate about branding, and this is something that's come about really in the last 18 months. So I kind of didn't really, when I first started Locks and Shades, like I had the logo and stuff and I was happy with it, but I didn't really know too much about what a brand was. So I went on a few courses, I really educated myself. And realised that a lot of it we were kind of already doing, we just hadn't really given it a name. I was kind of going, oh, like on a visual point of view, I was going, oh, that looks pretty, we'll have that. And, you know, when you really looked at my social media, it wasn't really connected very well. So we created a visual identity for Locks and Shades. So if anyone's been on our website or anything, we've got some brand colours, we've got triangles around like our brand sort of patterns. We've just actually had a little mini rebrand just before lockdown, so we've got a new logo, and we just really wanted it to be where you could look at our work and be like, right, that's Locks and Shades. So you know, we take all our photos against the branded background as well, just to make that really clear. But also our brand values are really important, and our brand values are passion, so be passionate about what you do, integrity, so always be honest and moral in any decisions that you're making. So when that came about, because when I started the salon, there was a lot of things within the hairdressing industry with, like, say for example, somebody come in with a photograph, and years ago how it would be is, say, I don't know, you came in with your black hair and you wanted to be platinum blonde. Hairdresser would just be like, yeah, that's fine, let's whack a load of bleach on it, it's good, and it will go bright orange because it's just not possible. But years ago that was kind of acceptable, whereas a couple of years you know, when I started the salon, hairdressers were starting to get a little bit of a voice and a little bit more honest and saying, actually no, your hair won't do that because that damages your reputation. So that's where the integrity and the being honest comes from. And then empowerment. We hairdressers have a really special superpower that we can empower other people, so we can make people feel amazing about themselves and really lift people up and make people happy. So those are my kind of brand values that I fall back on for any decisions in the business. So going, you know, even from the back of like HR recruitment wise to dealing with clients on a day-to-day basis. And then I try and communicate that using my social platforms.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And I must say your branding is on point as well.
Thank you.
From following your Facebook feeds and your lives and what have you, and even down to like your imagery, you know, all the photos of all your work is taken against your backdrop. It looks fantastic. Shout out to your designer who does your design work for you.
I've got a lady called it's called Mad About the Brand. She's over Bristol way actually.
Wow,
but
okay.
again, like, I watched all of her stuff and
Nice.
Following her for a little while, really liked her sort of vibe, and she's done my rebrand for us. So yeah,
it looks totally on point. It looks so good, I must say. You should be really pleased with it, and I think everything works really well for you. You just know that it's you guys when you know, whenever I don't even need to read that it says Locks and Shades, because I know that it's you. So I think you've done a really nice job with that, to be fair. And that, absolutely, it's so important to have your values as well, and to understand those. That's one of the things that we've been doing during lockdown. In fact, I was and ahhing the other day because I'd written some new values, right? And someone who I look up to a lot turned around and said that they're a bit vanilla, aren't they? I was like, oh, okay. And he showed me Atlassian. Atlassian are the company that own Trello. Have you ever come across Trello? Yep. It's like a project management tool, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
And one of their values is don't fuck the customer.
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he said, I could see Flagship with values a bit more like that. And I was like, what, a bit more sweary? And he was like, yeah. So I was thinking about, is the F word acceptable?
Do you know what? I've got to say, you know, I'm starting to work more on my personal brand at the moment. And if I post something that has a swear word in it, I definitely get more likes.
Really?
Yeah, it's not something I would do on Locks and Shades because that's completely not our brand with Locks and Shades. But when I'm working on my personal brand, dropping the F-bomb in there, people love it.
Yeah.
Get way more engagement.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
I saw a guy on LinkedIn the other day. His company's called Offended Marketing, and like his books have got the F word everywhere and what have you. To be fair, I read the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
It's quite a good book, actually. I don't know if you read it, but really good book.
Yeah, I feel like I've listened to it on an audiobook actually.
Yeah, may well have done. Really good book. So yeah, our one, I've not gone for the F word, but I have included a little bit of a swear in ours. I've gone, we don't take the piss, we're fair, open and accountable with no BS.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Which I think's acceptable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit of what we try and do. Yeah, we've got our values are really, really important actually, and it's important to actually demonstrate that to the customer as well about how you do business as well.
Yeah.
So ours are the flagship way. We're passionate, so we're passionate as well, passionate and courageous in our pursuit of excellence. We don't take the piss. We're fair, open, and accountable. No BS. Develop, advance, and evolve our people and our partners. We're defiant of accepted norms. Flagship, disrupt, innovate, and lead. So it's really important that we have that mindset around disruption and growth as well, which is quite similar. So it's clear how we sort of align as well, and we focus on creating value. And what we deliver for our partners too. So yeah, really, really important stuff for us to focus on. Talk to me a bit more about your culture as well. That's something that's quite important to you, Donna.
Yeah, so the culture of the business. So like right from so all of my girls that I've got here, I will interview them all personally, and before we even start the interview, I will always lay it on the line, like, I want nice girls. Like if you've got any type of bitchiness or you come across any type of negative way, like there's absolutely no chance you'll be working here. You know, and it's a family culture. We all get on really, really well, and I invest a lot of time and a lot of energy into educating the girls, and they've just all got cracking personalities that has created this lovely Locks and Shades sort of family culture. You know, but we have our brand values there to back it up. So I'd always say to them, any decision or whenever you come to work, if you're feeling a bit low or anything like that, just take it back to the brand values. Like, why are we here? For all these things, and you know, what is our job, you know, and that's how we've managed to create this lovely culture, which is something we try and communicate on social media as well. Like we've got our little team, we call them the Shaders, so we're like a Shaders family. So yeah,
I'm so glad you brought this up, right? Because I was going to say to you, what an absolute nightmare it must be recruiting, but I've got to be really careful about how I say this stuff, because obviously it could be I need to be a little bit careful about how I word it, but in reality, you know, when I had hair, I went and got it cut, and the hairdresser that did it, like, I've met deeper puddles, you know, like she was just like so horrible and so bitchy and like horrible about people and stuff. How do you sort of overcome that? Because you must have a really good team.
Yeah, I'll have a zero tolerance policy.
Right, okay.
No, it's literally laid out in our guidelines. I will have, you know, I don't think I've had to act on it, because I've always been completely clear, completely honest right from the very outset. Like, this is who we are. Any type of bitchiness, or because let's face it, hairdressers have a reputation of being a little bit bitchy, you know, and intimidating as well. A lot of people are scared of their hairdressers, a bit like a dentist. So I always make sure that when I'm doing the training, our customer service has to be like on point, and yeah, anything that's slightly off, like, we'll nip it in the bud, like we won't have it. But actually everyone we've got is pretty much amazing, and we do put them through quite a rigorous recruitment process to make sure of that. But you know, the hairdressing industry is small as well. You know, you hear little bits before it maybe even gets to that point. So
yeah, is it a bit like, so in the companies I've worked for and the companies I work with as well, I suppose it's quite like our hourly paid people and what have you. So certainly the technicians that I've worked with before, they'll often move around for like 50p an hour and that sort of thing. Do you have that similar sort of challenge as well?
we've been really lucky, actually. Pretty much everyone we've had, unless they've relocated, has stayed with us. So it's about creating like a happy vibe and a happy team. I'm generally quite a laid back. There's certain things, you know, that I am really, you know, hot on, like we've got to give good service and things like that. But, you know, I do try and create a family atmosphere. So as an employer, you know, if you've got to go to your kids' sports day or you've got to do this, like, that's absolutely fine. A lot of us are mums, you know, we all have personal lives, and I want to support that. And that's not something you get a lot in hair salons.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
another
long hours, hard grafts, long time on your feet, no breaks. I imagine it's pretty tough. Okay, cool. And we've kind of tied into your next one there as well, which is around good team and support network. So when you say good team, do you mean your team of girls around you, and then support network, you mean your wider network, or?
Yeah, so good team. Yeah, we've got my shaders. They're amazing. They've definitely supported the business. They've supported me through having 2 children, and yeah, they've got the same goals. They've got the same vision for the company that I've got, and that's really, really important. They're all hardworking. They're all amazing at what they do. You know, they've been. I make sure that I'm always offering them regular training opportunities, and that is a massive one for me. Like, their self-development is at the forefront of my mind all the time with my decisions that I make. So they've been a great support. And then, yeah, I mean, with my own personal support network, I think my husband is amazing. He it is definitely a 50-50 partnership when it comes to looking after the children. He's brilliant. And my mum helps me out loads as well. My mum and stepdad, they look after the boys for me as well, so I can work. And they're all really understanding of my business and my needs, as a business owner. I think as well, like, it's worth saying that the Peterborough business support is amazing as well. Built so many amazing connections within Peterborough. It's been great. So
Yeah, Peterborough's got a good support network of businesses as well, to be fair. That's something I've certainly found. It's good to know, obviously husband's 50-50 in it. Your parents are really supportive as well. I suppose that's so important as well.
yeah.
What sort of networks do you get involved with locally in Peterborough?
So I've got to admit, I used to go networking, but I haven't really too much recently, just because of having the kids, and it does work out being a little bit tricky. But generally, like, even those few connections that I made, I've kind of grown on, because then a lot of them people will come in for their hair, and then they just end up being friends. Or like things that I just like to start having I like to have a little bit of a personal relationship. It's like when I think Flagship was recommended to me by someone, I can't remember who, and then I came and I spoke to you via email, I've met with Maggie, and I think about being a personable person is really, really important to me, and I like to warm to people, and I feel like that's what the Peterborough Business Network is really inviting, and yeah, it's all linked together.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. And I'm really glad you came and joined us as well. And obviously you're part of the Flagship team now as well, with with the shaders and what have you as well. I had first aid training with us, and we've still got mental health training to come, haven't we?
Yeah. Like last year, I did an employee survey of everyone at the beginning of the year. So, we do some amazing things. We go to award ceremonies, to ship them on the day out to London, have like amazing, all expensive paid Christmas do. Like, what thing have you enjoyed the most this year? First aid training. I enjoyed it too, but like,
That's amazing.
Show like how amazing it was.
Love that so much. Mags will be well happy with that feedback. Yeah.
Oh.
To be fair, we've won a lockdown award. We didn't get any like night out, because you've had some serious nights out recently on the old award circuit, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you about my little one, and then you can tell me about your big ones. How about that? That sounds so wrong. I hope people don't come into the podcast just on that little bit, me telling you about my little one. Anyway, yeah. So we won the SME News Best First Aid Consultancy in the East.
Oh, amazing.
During lockdown, which is amazing, right? But it's like an online award, I suppose, because there's no ceremony or anything. So yeah, I didn't get to put my my cocktail dress on or anything. So tell me a bit about your awards.
So yeah, I do love an award. So what have we done? So I won. I've been fortunate to win the Peterborough Business Awards. We were Best Hair Salon last year and Best Overall Business last year, which was amazing.
Nice.
That was just amazing, actually, because that was something I wanted to do for ages. We had the whole team there. It was just incredible. It was brilliant.
Nice, yeah.
We won the Hunts Post Customer Service Award last year as well. That was really that was really good, really amazing. I was really like, I didn't know anything about the other businesses, so that was almost, and I don't really know too much about Huntingdonshire, even though we're in Huntingdonshire. I didn't really know too much about it, so that was fab. And we also won a national award for our branding and marketing in London last year as well. That was the Fantastic Hairdresser Awards. So yeah,
Amazing.
that was pretty amazing. And again, that was a little bit shocking because we're such a new business. But yeah, every time, like, we all get dressed up, we'll all go and have our makeup done. Oh, we love it. We love
it. Yeah, no, amazing. I must say, there was like a period last year, it was probably around the time you were coming to us for the training, and literally you guys were like all over my newsfeed for different awards and all sorts. So yeah, right. So we're on to the final thing already. I can't believe it. The time's just flown by. But we're on the last one, which is around education values and keeping growing and developing. So actually, we've already been talking a little bit about that, but just tell me a bit more about how, you know, how important that is for you.
So when I started and came into hairdressing, one of the things that really attracted me to it is that it is ever changing and ever evolving. So there is always something to learn, and I love learning and bettering myself. So that's it, one of the reasons why it's the perfect career for me. Obviously, when I came into being a business owner, I had no business knowledge at all. I'd been a manager before, so I knew a little bit about managing, but managing for another person and managing for yourself as the business owner, like, the buck stops with you. Like, you need to know everything, and if you don't know it, you need to learn it pretty fast. So all of these things like branding, like the finances, the HR, all that sort of thing, I've had to learn. And I just feel so passionate about learning. I just think you need to improve yourself. You need to be carrying on growing. And that is definitely a culture that I have installed into the Locks and Shades team as well.
Amazing. Awesome stuff. Yeah, no, it's so important then to make sure that you're training your team up. It's the only way that you're really going to get better, isn't it? It's the only way that you're going to get better and offer a better service. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so as we sort of tie things up a little bit, how do people find you? Where, like, obviously we talked a bit about the business, Locks and Shades. How do they find you, Donna? How are you developing your personal brand? You talked a bit about that. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm starting a new journey. I have just trained to be a hairdressing business coach for salon owners. So I'm starting on that journey soon, and I'm building my personal brand, which is on Instagram, Donna Young. But the Locks and Shades, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Locks and Shades, and our salon situated in Yaxley.
Awesome. And you do a full range of different hairdressing and styling and different stuff like that, which I probably don't know a lot about because I'm literally bald.
everything hairdressing related, and we also have a little sunbed salon as well. So yeah, we're all hair with a little bit of sunbeds. I suppose.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining me. You've been an absolute star, and thanks everyone for listening. And I'll catch you all again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your time. Please do follow me at Pete Rushmer on LinkedIn, or on Facebook, follow Flagship Training UK, and you can find us on YouTube too at Flagship UK.